Hello everyone, welcome back to Bare. I'm Stephanee. Today's video is number 3 in my decluttering series. Today we will be tackling my makeup brushes as well as how I store them and a little bit about travel brushes as well. These types of videos tend to be a little bit lengthy. I promise it will go like that because that is how I like to edit. So grab something to eat, grab a drink, and let's get started. This is the complete set of brushes that I will be getting rid of. Start off with the kabuki brushes. This brush is very scratchy and the hairs are already starting to come apart. I've actually have not even used this, so I'm not even going to bother dealing with it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. A couple of other brushes here. These are 2 kabuki brushes. Again, the hairs are starting to come apart. This is on the Ulta Kabuki. This one is from the Balm. The hairs are starting to fray and go every which way. And this is just some random brush that I think came in some sort of a beauty kit. And I'm not going to use that. Moving on to foundation here. This brush actually broke. This is just like a travel size foundation brush from Iman. This one is from Target's old Up and Up line, and the hairs are already starting to fray out on the side. This one's from MAC. This is the 190 brush, and same thing, the hairs are already starting to separate really bad at the top here. This is their flat foundation brush. And this is just from Essence of Beauty. It's a blender brush, like a flat top kabuki style here. And the brushes are very scratchy, so I'm not going to be keeping that. I'm going to move on to powder brushes next. I have these 3 here. Does anyone remember the brushes called Flirt? It was the line that was sold at Kohl's way back in the day. Now these 2 are showing signs of wear and tear. The hair is scratchy, and just a little bit of the hairs are starting to separate here at the ferrule. This one is from Morphe. It is their M178. This is very stiff. Hairs start to shed. The hairs are already scratchy because I have washed this one a few times. But again, I'm not surprised. I just am not a fan of the Morphe brushes. That's just my personal preference. 2 brushes here. One is a flat top kabuki. One is a powder brush. These 2 brushes really shed. This is a crown brush, and this is their flat top bronzer brush. The brushes by now are scratchy, and they are starting to come up at the top. And this is a powder brush that came from some sort of an Estee Lauder gift with purchase set. And the hairs are scratchy, have come loose, and it's starting to separate, so I'm not going to get much more use out of this brush. This came from Walmart, I think maybe about 2 years ago. Not pleased with the quality of the hairs. It just doesn't pick up product well, and the brushes shed. This last bunch of brushes here, again, I have a couple more of these brushes that have the wood handle here. Again, just not impressed by this set. Just not going to get any use out of that. Again, the hairs, just not impressed with the quality of that. This is e.l.f.'s flat eyeliner brush. The hairs are separating and it's not cut straight across, so I'm not going to be able to use that. This brush is from Flower Cosmetics, which is sold at Walmart. As far as to apply eyeshadow, it just did not do the job. There's just really nothing from that line I'm impressed with, so passing on that. This is just some random brush from L'Oreal. I mean, I can even use it as a lip brush. But the hairs up here are starting to fan out, so I'm not going to get any use out of that. Here are 2 more powder brushes from Flirt Cosmetic. These are the travel sizes. Had these for close to 10 years. Hairs are separating and fanning out, so it's time to let go of those. This brush is from Soho, I believe. I think it's from Soho Cosmetics. The hairs are very scratchy on this brush to the point it hurt. I remember it's just scratching on my skin and I don't like that, so I'm not keeping that brush. It's a Wet n Wild brush. And the hairs, it's cut really strange the way it's cut. It's kind of cut where it's like a big groove here and then it's taller when it should be all the way around. I don't know, it's weird, but they messed up on that design right there. It's a fan brush from Kala, and the hairs are already fanning out too much for my liking. a eyebrow grooming brush. This is from Flirt Cosmetic too. I don't particularly care to use these type of comb brushes for my brows. This is from the Cream Shop. It's an eyeliner brush, and the hairs are again fanning at the top, so I won't be keeping that. This is a blush brush from Flirt Cosmetics, so it's just a smaller version of their powder brush that I did use for travel. Again, the hair's separating, scratchy, time to let go of that. This is an Ulta blush brush, not cut correct at the top here. So there's grooves and indentions at the top, so I'm not going to be keeping that. And then this is a angled blush brush, and this is from Essence of Beauty. Brush I've had for quite some time, so it's now just starting to do the whole separation. Hairs are no longer compact and dense like it used to be, so I will be passing that one on. This side is all what I would consider for foundation. So I have 3 flat foundation brushes here. This one from Real Techniques is a blunt cut one, but other than that, I still consider it a flat. One from Wet n Wild, and then from Ecotools. And the rest are just like all the kabuki style brushes. I have one from Sedona Lace, and I have one from the Target Up and Up line. Oh, I have another flat foundation brush. This is actually from a set from eBay that I purchased, so I am using this one. I have this e.l.f. one, which is a pointed foundation brush. Hers are already starting to fray at the top, so I already know that at least in 2016, this probably is going to show up in empties pretty soon. I like this one from Sakura brand better than I do the Sigma, to be honest. This one from Sonia Kajuk, this is the number 16. Brush is great to blend in BB creams and liquid foundation. It's from the Pro line at Sephora. It's the number 56 brush. This brush is absolutely fabulous to apply any type of liquid or cream product. 2 favorite stipple brushes, if you want to say one drugstore and one high-end. The drugstore stipple brush of life is from Real Techniques, and then the high-end one is the 187 from MAC. This is another Up and Up brand. Again, just not really wowed with that line, but I'll use it up. And I'm keeping the Up and Up brushes, especially because I already know the e.l.f. ones will start to break apart. Like this one is already starting to get loose at the top. If I really pulled it and yanked it, it'll come apart. This is the small stipple brush. And then the last stipple brush is from BH Cosmetics. This small set is bunched together here. I have a flat foundation brush, a flat concealer, a travel flat top kabuki. It's just if that's what I want to use when I travel, I know to pull from there. And then this is actually like a fan brush. It's actually a painter's brush. Let's move on to this bundle set here. I have a variety of concealer brushes here. It's from Sedona Lace. It's a flat top kabuki brush. This one is from e.l.f. It's the angled contour brush. This is actually an eyeshadow brush, but I prefer it for concealer. Then a lot of other traditional flat top concealer brushes right here. I have 2 right there. I have a larger size flat brush from Real Techniques. Another slanted one from Real Techniques, and then this one is from Tarte. This is Luxie Beauty. This is an actual face kit. You have the traditional flat top kabuki. You have more of a rounded one. You have a pointy brush, and then 2 angled flat top kabuki brushes. This one is the angled contour brush. This one is fairly new, so I am still kind of working on that brush. This is the buffing brush. It's a great brush to buff out and blend any type of a cream or a liquid product. This is the contour brush by Real Techniques. I use this for my cream contour. This brush is also fairly new. It's the sculpting brush, and still working on this. I don't pull it out too often. And then this is the Expert Face Brush from Real Techniques. I do reserve this brush particularly for highlighting purposes. This is from BH Cosmetics. I picked it up at Marshall's at a really great price. This face set is very similar to the Luxie brushes. I'll just rotate between the 2 sets. So one week I'll use Luxie and the other week I'll use the BH Cosmetics. 3 I use primarily for bronzing purposes as well as applying powder all over my face. So I have this packed one here. Then I have 2 that are in the travel retractable style. push the lever up, and then I can use the top portion here and buff in a contour that way. So I do enjoy these retractable brushes. I do use the fan brushes to apply my highlighter, just depends on the formula, or even a blush. This brush I use primarily for contouring or a bronzer. I love that it's a flat, dense brush. This is the MAC 168. This is definitely a brush I recommend for everybody's kit or everybody's brush collection. It just works really well. And I have another large fan brush here. This is by Crown, and I will use this for highlighting purposes as well. My Chanel brushes last me, I think we're going on probably about 14 years. And then I have my Laura Mercier. So these are my two favorite blush brushes that I would consider high-end and luxury models. I have one MAC blush brush. This one came in a Cinderella kit I got during Christmas. So it works well for bronzer or even contour powder products. And I have this brush here from Victoria's Secret, and I love how tapered it is and it's flat. I kind of reserve these two brushes more for my body. So if I want to apply any type of powder or any type of a liquid bronzer, whatever I'm trying to do, I will use these two brushes for that purpose. This one is from Ecotools. It's the face and body sculpting brush. And then this one is from Too Faced. This just came in a bronzer kit, but I do use this brush for my body. This one I actually don't use it too often. This is from Real Technique. So it's like one of those closable, like kabuki type style brushes. And this one I use primarily when I'm swatching products. This is from Essence of Beauty. So it's got a sponge on the side, but it has a blush type on this side. Elf powder brush. Yeah, Elf powder brush. I like to use it for contour. This one is from Real Techniques. It's the setting brush. I actually have two because I got them in two separate sets here. They're definitely not my favorite. This is a contour brush from Crown Brush. I really do like this one too. It's from e.l.f. It's the mineral powder brush, and it surprised me as far as being able to blend out contour powder products. Barrel is starting to get very loose, so I anticipate probably sometime this year it will break. This one is the e.l.f. angled blush brush. Again, just using up my e.l.f. brushes, and when they split apart and die, I won't replace them. And then this is the e.l.f. small tapered brush. I really like this brush as far as not only for contour purposes, it sets on your under eye concealer really well. This is the Real Techniques brush. This is their blush brush. It is fairly large, so I don't use it for blush purposes. So I will use it for loose and pressed powder. This is e.l.f.'s Complexion brush. It's another one where it is starting to separate. I can feel how loose it is. Then I have a couple brushes I've picked up. This is from the company Kala. This is a good buy. I got these at Marshall's. If you do see the brand Kala, give them a try. You might like that. My last two favorite powder brushes for either loose or pressed powder. This is my powder brush from Chanel. And then this is the MAC 136 brush here. Both apply pressed and loose powder great onto the face. Up here in the top, I have two of these donut shaped hair buns. And what I do with these is I'll just take a brush when I'm doing my makeup, and just to quickly clean it, I'll just go back and forth. Inside here, I have my brushes in my MAC holder cases. These keep the brushes dust free, and you can pick these up at any MAC Pro store. The large container here, and then you just twist off the lid, and then it comes apart like this. So this holder has all of my eye brushes. So I do, again, rotate the brushes every Sunday. I'll just go through and pick out what brush I want to use for my eyes and face and lips. Then this small MAC container, these actually has all of my brushes. I'm still testing, in a sense. I'm still checking to see if I like these. Just kind of keep them there to remind me to continue using those, see how you like them. Maybe there's something that I can recommend. Okay, this is another BH Cosmetic brush set that I picked up. So it's all for the face and the eyes. Now they kind of match the other brushes that I showed previously. I have a second set to go through. There's two brushes up here. This came in a Soho set that I received. So one is, this is a flat foundation brush. This one's for contour. If anything, I can just use these for travel. These three brushes are from Rite Aid. It's the Renewal line. I actually do like these brushes from Rite Aid. And this is the dual fiber set. There's a third one that's for the eyes. I actually don't know where that one is, but I'm still kind of playing around with this. This is the dual fiber face brush. This is the contour brush. And then the third one is a smaller one for the eye. So I've been using that one to apply my transition color. These four brushes were in a Wet n Wild holiday set that I received in December. This is a brush that was in my Christmas stocking. It's from Buxom, so I'm still testing this out. It's an eyeshadow brush. This brush was also in my stocking. It's from Japanese and it's the number 130 brush. I do like this brand too, and it packs on color well on the eye. So TJ Maxx is pretty much the only place I can find Paula Dorf brushes, and I love Paula Dorf from the 90s. I mean, her brushes were top notch. So I picked these up to try it out. It's a brush set from Ecotools. I actually did a review on these brushes. These brushes I feel should be in everybody's collection. They are that good. So I'll link the video down below if you're interested in watching it. Last is another Ecotools brush. This is a stippling brush that I've been testing out. This is for any type of a cream or liquid product. I picked this acrylic set up over at my local Marshall's. I keep this container on top of my vanity. Then I just separate them. This section here I have for my anything for eyeshadow here. In the middle are my brushes that I use for face and concealer. This side here is anything I would use for my face. So powders, contour. In the front, I keep my eyebrow brushes. This side is all of my tiny small brushes and my lip brushes. Another great idea to use to store your brushes is to take, you know, any type of cup that you might have that has a, you know, a nice design that you like, or an old candle holder like this, and then just store your brushes in that. You don't have, I don't put the little rice or whatever that stuff is inside. I just like to store them just like that inside. I have more brushes. This is my e.l.f. 3 container, so it's got 3 slots here. Brushes that I'm going to use for the week, I keep them in here. And then as I use them, they go back, they go into here. That way I don't have dirty brushes. That way I can separate the dirty brushes or used brushes from the ones that I haven't touched yet. It helps me when I go to wash my brushes. I don't have to figure out which brush is clean and which one isn't, because I know everything in this container needs to be washed. When I do travel, these are pretty much the 2 bags that I take with me. This is the carry case for the Laura Mercier brushes. So it has a flip top here. You can put your brushes right here. It covers it to keep them clean. And on this side it has a zippered compartment. So you can put some brushes right there. And then it closes. Now I've put the Laura brushes in other brands and it still closes flat, magnetic. So it really works well for that purpose. And this brush roll is from Lorac. This is another case I've had for, oh goodness, forever. So it's got 4 sections here and then has a zippered coverage like that, so you can put different, so I do separate them by category and store them like this, and then it rolls together and closes. I have a separate set of brushes that I just have strictly for travel purposes. I have them bundled together. If anything happens and I'm traveling, I lose my luggage or lose the brushes or whatever, I'm not going to fret about it because this stuff is easy to replace. If you have any questions about any specific brush that I showed but I didn't go into detail about it, please leave me a comment below. I do thank you for stopping by and watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day or evening. And as always, I'm going to see you